right. Hello, everybody. Hello, Instagram. Hello to our Facebook group. Hello to everybody who's joining us on the Zoom or in the replay. If you're watching this and you are watching it on the replay, I would love for you to type replay in the comment section of the YouTube or of the Facebook group. Hi, Mitzi. Great to see you. So happy that you're here. Today, we're going to talk about how to stop starting over and the 4 reasons that you keep falling off track. And I know for myself that I have committed to so many diets over the years, over 20 years of dieting, and I would fall off track every time. And then I would go back to the diet or try a new diet. And it was so frustrating for me because all I wanted was to be able to stay consistent. So if that's something that's ever happened for you and you've seen yourself fall off track and consistency feels like a struggle, I want you to put a C in the chat to let us know because you're not alone. Consistency can really feel like a challenge for so many of us. And today I'm going to explain to you exactly why that is so that you never fall off the wagon again. And maybe you experience it in this way. You're eating really well, you get your workouts in, you drink your water, you take your supplements, you go to bed earlier, and you finally feel like you get into a rhythm. You're like, yes, I've got this. This is amazing. And then all of a sudden, things start falling apart. Maybe you don't get a good night's sleep. Maybe work gets really crazy and chaotic for you. Maybe your family really needs you. Maybe somebody has fallen sick and you can't take the time for yourself in order to be able to follow through with the new rhythms that you put in. And suddenly it feels like you're completely off track. And then you feel bad in your body. You get more sluggish, more weight gain, more inflammation, more bloating, more tired, and then even more frustrated. And all of those feelings get caught up in the body and energetically make us feel afraid to start again, afraid to do it today, feeling pretty awful. And then we start saying things like, I'm going to start on Monday. I'm going to start next week. I'm going to start after the vacation. And then we don't really know exactly what we are supposed to do in order to get started again. And the truth is, guys, is that I don't think it's because we aren't motivated enough. Of course, we want to feel good. Of course, we want to release unnecessary weight. Of course, we want to have great lab results and we want to feel better. But today, I'm going to tell you the 4 reasons that we don't actually end up choosing that for ourselves. And more importantly, how we can stop constantly feeling like we need to start over. So if you're ready to find out those 4 reasons, go ahead and let me know in the chat, type 4, because today's live training is really going to teach you this so that you don't continue to start over, so that you can follow through. I see a couple people putting 4 in the chats in the Facebook group and in the Zoom. So I know you guys are ready to find this out, and I'm going to give you the exact steps to take in order to be able to follow through. Okay. So the first reason that we end up falling off track is the all or nothing thinking. And I want you to think a little bit about what happens when you say you've fallen off track or I've fallen off the wagon. It's like I'm either on the wagon or I'm off the wagon. And the question that I want you guys to ask yourself is, was it actually some huge event? Is having a slice of pizza when you're not on your plan some huge event? Is having dessert after dinner when you said you weren't going to some huge event? Is not working out for just 3 days some huge event? Maybe a couple glasses of wine you had at a party when you intended on having one. Is that some huge catastrophic event? It's not. So maybe you make choices that go beyond what you thought that you would normally do. But what happens in your brain is that you start thinking, this is catastrophic. This is something that I did. I'm bad. You give it a quality of who you are instead of how you feel. So rather than saying, I ate differently tonight, you might say something like, gosh, I really blew it. I'm a failure. Even me saying those words causes my body to tense up, and then I start to feel really low in my body. So the number one thing that you can do instead of that all or nothing thinking is really to tell yourself a new story that I just did something differently than what I have done over the last couple of days or over the last week. It's just different. Don't give it a good quality or a bad quality. It's just different than what you've been doing. Because once you've decided that you've blown it, we tend to think things like, well, I might as well eat the whole rest of the pizza, or I might as well order out tomorrow night. I might as well skip the workout. I might as well enjoy my weekend or my vacation and start on Monday. We go into this, I might as well, and then we're feeding that feeling of failure. You might as well be saying, you might as well be saying to yourself, I made this choice, I'm a failure, so therefore I'm going to continue to fail. So you're feeding that limiting negative belief to yourself that you are actually a failure. So what I want you to also think about is stop turning individual choices into judgments about yourself, and stop turning individual choices into the ways you've fallen off and the ways that you have failed. I want you to actually tune into your body and presence yourself in the way that you feel, instead of being up here in the judgments that you have about yourself. We can turn judgments into facts about what's actually going on. So, for example, if because of the pizza, you start to feel digestively unwell, you're like, oh, I feel bloated and I don't feel well, right? Up here, you start feeling guilty about it. You feel like a failure. But what's actually happening in your body is that you don't feel particularly well. And when you don't feel particularly well, then you get to pivot and say, well, I want to feel well. I don't want to feel bloated and digestively unwell. And one of the things that Amanda and I teach our clients is to go back to PFFV, and that's protein, healthy fats, fiber, and vegetables. And we talk about this in our membership. We talk about this in our one-on-one work with our clients. We talk about this with women in our 30-day clarity experience for their hormone levels. And this component can help you get back on track. We treat it as fact-based, not judgment-based. If because you skipped a workout, you don't have the energy that you want, then lean into that. It's like, oh, I don't have a lot of energy. You can judge yourself for not having energy, and you can, lay around and say, oh, I don't have energy to do anything. And you kind of blame your external circumstances. Or you get to say, I don't have a lot of energy right now. The next thing I'm going to do is go for a workout so I can have the energy that I want, that I'm lacking because I didn't get my workout in. You guys don't need to fix what you did yesterday. You don't need to fix what you ate last night for dinner. You don't need a cleanse. One meal doesn't have to impact the next meal. The fact is that it may be impacting something you feel. Again, dropping into your body, being present with your body. How does it feel when I make this choice? It feels physically bad in my body. And if that's the way that you're feeling, then you have an opportunity to shift that and change that. You get to be empowered with the choice that you're making, instead of feeling like you are at the mercy of the choice that you made. Let me say it again. You're empowered with the choice that you're making based on the way you feel, instead of at the mercy of the choice that you made that sends you down into that rabbit hole. And one of the most important things that Amanda and I talk about with our clients inside of our membership is this exact thing. And we give twice weekly pocket coaching to anybody in our membership, giving these types of tips that you can follow through with so that you don't feel bad in your body. Not everybody knows and can connect to the way that it feels when you eat something off, or when you don't work out, or when you don't get the sleep that you get. And that's why inside of our membership and inside of our one-on-one coaching, we actually offer this weekly pocket coaching, these little tiny tips that you can put into your day so that you can feel better. So if you want to explore more about that, we're going to put 2 links in the chat. One is going to be to our membership that you can explore. And if you're not sure if that's a good fit for you, or you hear me talk about our one-on-one coaching, we're also going to put a health fit call into the chat so that you can book that and just simply talk to me and Amanda about what type of pathway might be right for you so that you can get on track. The second reason that we fall off track is that we build plans for our best days instead of building plans for our worst days, right? So we get into a rhythm, we're feeling really good, and we're like, oh, this really works for me. Or you follow a new plan and all that adrenaline comes in and it makes you feel really motivated, right? And then something new and shiny comes up for your health and you're like, oh, I'm going to grab onto that and I'm going to follow through with that. And that's going to feel really good. But we only tend to choose it when it's convenient for us. And we have a lot of conversations with women who say sometimes to us, not right now, I'm going on vacation, work is too crazy, I can't commit. And that is you not committing to yourself. It's you making plans to only do things on your best days, to only do things when it's convenient for you, to only do things when life is chill. But the reality is that life isn't always chill. In fact, most of the time, it's a little chaotic. So I want you guys to stop waiting around for taking action. And again, book that health fit call so that we can talk about what's standing in the way between you and actually carrying through with your plans when you're not having your best days, right? Because the plan works beautifully sometimes. You sleep well, you eat well, you take care of yourself. There's food in the refrigerator. You've meal planned on Sunday. I mean, all of this, I'm like, yeah, right? Like rapid fire, like these are the things that I want to do. And put in the chat 100% if you feel like those types of things would be, you would have to have 100% everything in your life going well for you to be doing all of those things. Because the reality is that it's not 100% all the time. And you don't even have to put 100% effort in all of the time, because 30% is an off day, right? When 30% of things aren't going well. And we might think, oh, nothing's going well. That's another limiting belief we can talk about another time. But let's assume that it was a 30% day. Maybe you didn't sleep well, and so you're feeling cranky the next day. Maybe work was insane, right? Maybe you didn't sleep well because work was insane. Maybe someone in your family needs something, or you forgot to go to the grocery store. You didn't have time to go to the grocery store. Guys, these things happen. They happen to me on a weekly basis, but I'm not going to let them take charge of what I'm doing. I'm going to empower myself to take action in the face of these things that aren't going well, right? It's like we tend to think that we get on a plan and that it's written out a certain way. And then if we don't follow through, again, we're failures. It's that all or nothing thinking, going back to that. So we have to plan for those 30% days instead of for those 100% days. And that's why I want you to start thinking about something called your minimum viable habit. This is your low bar. It's your minimum expectation, kind of your non-negotiable for you to keep your body on board with what you're choosing, keeping your body empowered to make choices rather than being guided by your external circumstances. And what I mean by that is that if you don't get your 45-minute workout in today, fine, do 5 minutes, get on the floor, do a 30-second plank. If you didn't get to meal prep and you don't have something ready for dinner, order something that would serve you. Order something to come to your house that's a PFFV meal: protein, healthy fat, fiber, and veggies. Doesn't mean you throw caution to the wind and you throw everything out the window. It just means that you make a choice differently. You pivot a little bit on a 30% day. Maybe you do less of what your intention was, but what you're doing is you're teaching your brain that follow through is possible, even if it's not 100%. I don't abandon myself just because today is hard. And I don't want you to abandon yourself just because your day is hard. You show up for yourself, especially when it's hard, even if it's a little bit. Even if it's a little bit. So if you want to show up for yourself, tell me show up in the chat. I'm going to show up for myself even when it's hard, even if it's just a little bit. I don't get my workout in, I go for a little walk, right? I don't get the meal in I thought, then I end up committing to having a delicious snack or some fruit, right? It doesn't have to be perfect. It just needs to talk to your brain in a way that tells you, I am here and I am not abandoning myself and my health. I am showing up for myself. I just want to take a moment and say hi to Bethany on Instagram. I want to say hi to Rebecca in our Zoom. I'm so glad that you guys are here. Thanks for joining us. We're going to go on to the next two things that typically make us go off track, and I'm going to give you solutions for those things. So the third reason we go off track is that we rely on restriction, doing less, or restricting ourselves instead of regulating ourselves. And this one is huge, especially for women who are used to dieting. We think that we went overboard, so we have to have no sugar. We think that we ate too much, so we can't have any food, right? We think that we didn't work out at all, so we have to go sign up for a week-long class. We think that we didn't eat well, and then we have to go on a week-long cleanse. Say me in the chat if you've ever, even if you've thought about that, right? If that's something that you've even thought that you need to do in order to get yourself back on track. Because it is so common for us to think I need to reverse and change course and go completely in the other direction. instead of asking for support in some way. Because what looks like a discipline problem is actually your body asking for support. So you need to ask yourself some questions instead of, why did I fail? Why did I eat so much? I can't believe that I ate that. I can't believe I didn't work out today. I can't believe I didn't get the sleep, right? We're so judgy about that, and we can't believe that we did something like that. And then we're so hard on ourselves. The questions you want to ask yourself: be curious about your body, be curious about what's going on for you instead of judgmental. Am I underfed? Did I forget to have breakfast? Did I work through my workday and I didn't eat enough today? Am I exhausted? Am I stressed out? Am I sleeping poorly? Am I in perimenopause and I'm experiencing all these symptoms? The truth is, guys, none of these are character flaws. None of these are character flaws. It doesn't mean anything about you. Doesn't mean that you're a terrible person. It's actually your physiology, your nervous system, your hormones, your circadian rhythms, your gut health, you name it. It's something that's going on inside of your body. It's not you. It's not that you are making terrible choices all the time. It's literally something is going on in your body. So instead of asking yourself, how can I control myself more? How can I restrict more? What you want to ask yourself and be curious about is, what might my body actually need? If this thing happened, if I overate, if I ate too much sugar, if I drank too much, if I was exhausted during the day, what is my body actually asking me for? We jump to these conclusions that we need to do some drastic thing, but maybe you just need more water or electrolytes. Maybe you need a better sleep routine. Maybe you need to let go of something. Maybe you need more fiber. We teach all of our clients about these components that you might need because you might not know exactly what they are. And that's why we offer the Health Fit call that we're going to put the link in the chat so that you guys can get on a call with me and Amanda and talk about some of those things that you might not know are going on for you. If you're feeling exhausted, if you're feeling bloated, if you're feeling digestively unwell, if you feel like you eat too much, maybe you're emotional eating, guess what? There is nothing wrong with you. This is something that we can resolve with you either in our membership or in our one-on-one coaching. And we would be honored to have that phone call with you so that we can help you follow through with some of the things that you just might be missing. Because you just might be missing something: protein, rest, recovery, stress regulation, a meal earlier in the day, whatever it is, we've got you. And we want to arm you with the information that you need in order to be able to follow through with the crappy way that you might feel that is actually leading you to make unconscious choices that you don't really want to make for yourself. So the fourth reason that we might fall off the wagon or get off track is that we think consistency means we never get off track. So many women come to me and they say, I'm so inconsistent. In fact, put an I in the chat or in the comments on Instagram or in Facebook if you've ever said to yourself, I want more consistency. I feel so inconsistent. I see a couple eyes coming up in the chats and in the comments. Yeah. And then we judge ourselves for not being consistent. Like, what is consistency? We start to think to ourselves, consistency means that I do the same thing every single day. They mean that they think they mean it means that you're doing something without any interruptions, that there's no disruption in your life, that you're doing it anyway, no matter what. But that's not real life, right? It's not real life. You're going to go on vacation. You're going to celebrate birthdays. You're going to get sick. You're going to have holidays. You're going to have stressful weeks. You're going to have nights where you don't sleep and you're tossing and turning. This type of stuff comes in. And then as a result, we might end up being inconsistent, but you don't have to judge yourself for that because consistency doesn't mean that you stay on track. The consistency means that you get back on track as soon as you realize that there's something going on for you. There's going to be seasons where you have more capacity than others and seasons when you have less. So your definition of consistency actually requires you to cooperate so that you don't feel like you're always failing. So here's the other definition. Consistency isn't never getting disrupted or doing something daily or doing something all of the time or doing something in set intervals. Consistency is actually shortening the distance between disruption and connection. This is another example of being present with your body. So I'll say it again. Consistency is knowing how to reconnect, right? Shortening the distance between the disruption and the reconnection. Because what we've been talking about here, guys, is what happens when we fall off track is that we say we're going to start on Monday, we're going to start after the vacation, we're going to start after the holiday. That's actually where inconsistency comes in. Consistency is how can I decide and be present with my body and do all the things we talked about, settle into my body, understand what my body needs, listen to what my body needs in order for it to feel good, right? Settle into what my body needs to feel the way that I want it to feel. Shorten that distance. If you can consistently shorten the distance between feeling like you're not doing what you need to do in order to show up for your health and doing the thing that you need to do, that's where consistency actually comes into play. Okay. It's a reconnection with your body. And that reconnection can be honored as soon as you get that thought, oh, I feel like I'm not doing what I need to do for my health or what I know would be good for me. As soon as you pick it back up, you are consistently showing up for yourself. Consistency is consistently showing up for yourself, not necessarily doing the thing every single day or every other day or whatever it is that the interval that you plan on is, right? I see so many people make calendars. They're like, I'm going to work out Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Well, guess what? If you have an interruption, tendency is I'm going to start working out again next week. Consistency is when can I pick it up as soon as possible? So that is the difference. And the number one way to do this, guys, is to be accountable. And whether you choose to be accountable to a friend, to a mentor, to a coach, or to a group, accountability in claiming what it is you want to do helps you get on track more quickly and helps you with that choice of consistency as opposed to just doing it on your own. Because I know left to my own devices, I would say next week, next vacation, next year, next January when I make my New Year's resolutions, right? But being accountable is so important. And that's why inside the membership, we have mindset and motivation calls on Wednesday nights so that you can bring the things that you feel like you are having a hard time staying on track with. And we can encourage you and give you some of these tips that I'm giving you today from these 4 reasons that we fall off track and how to get back on it, right? How to get back on track. So let's recap. How do we stop starting over? Get out of the all or nothing thinking and reconnect with how you want to feel. So it's not I'm on the plan, off the plan, I'm good or bad. It's how am I feeling and how can I honor the way that I feel in order to be able to follow through with my health. Build plans not just for your best days, but your non-negotiable, low bar, tough days. So you can anticipate that now, today. Think about what are some of the tough days that might be coming up in my week? What do I expect from myself on the days that feel challenging? Third thing, rather than restricting yourself, you're going to listen to your body and regulate yourself. What is your body actually asking for? When you feel like you're getting really tired, when you feel like you are overeating, when you feel like you're like flying off the handle and getting mad at everybody. Your body's actually asking you for something, and you can listen to it and give it the thing that it needs so that you don't get off track. And then treat consistency as the moment that you take action, not the amount of times that you take action. Can I consistently show up for myself, not consistently follow some sort of strict calendar that I put down for myself? And all of these reasons have something in common. We think that health is something we're either doing right or wrong, on or off, good or bad, but your body doesn't live inside of these categories. Your body is actually living with you through all of it. Okay, so super important. Everything I've talked to you about today is a way that you can be present with your body instead of being separate from your body and saying, my body belongs in these categories of good or bad, of on or off, being consistent or inconsistent. I'm actually moving through my health with my body in partnership with it. So if you can be in partnership with your body, then you are going to stay on the track that is going to feel best for you and is going to get you the results that you want. I want you guys to ask, what does my body need from me today? What is one choice that can bring me back into alignment, bring me back to myself, bring me back to the way that I want to feel? What's the smallest version of the routine or the expectation I have for myself that I could do right now? And when you do that, you don't need to keep starting over. You just get to keep going. If anything that I shared with you guys today feels inspiring, go ahead and book the Health Fit call. You'll hop on a phone call with Amanda and we will problem solve for you. What are the things that are getting in your way? What is it that keeps happening for you that you get off track? And what are the things that you can do in order to be able to stay in that energy of partnership with your body and following through so that you don't give up on yourself, you don't judge yourself, you don't feel like a failure. And I'd love to hang out here for a moment and answer any questions anybody has, give you any words of encouragement. If there's something that you feel like you're getting off track with, you can throw it in the comments on Instagram. Happy to answer any questions. And if you're joining me inside the Facebook group or inside the Zoom, of course, you guys can also put something in the comments, or I welcome you to come off mute and ask me any questions about consistency. And if not, I hope you have a wonderful day and you guys can drop off the call and we'll see you next Wednesday.